let's get rolling here this morning. So last week we went over Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We went over how to use low volume nodes with our market structure and where we can find these liquidity grab setups, these trades. And we had a few of them this morning so far. So watch these today. So let's take a look at this morning. So let me get these lines off here. And we'll go over the setups. So here's our bell curve here. Here's volume profile. And on volume profile, we want to find out where the low volume nodes are. So the easiest thing we do is we look at the lowest volume of the session. You can see it by looking at the left side of the bell curve and going to your right and finding the lowest volume point of the bell curve, and that's our low volume node. That should be a turning point in the market or a rejection if it lines up with our 30-year back-tested trend filter. Those are the best ones. So if you can look, the trades that we've had this morning or the volume nodes, the low volume nodes, this is the lowest one we've had this morning so far at that level. And if you look at the projected, if you project this line out for the session, this is a good trade right there. This is the pullback liquidity grab. There's your pullback. There's your sell. There's your short right at the high of that candle, 83.5. Now you can pull yourself in. If you want to pull yourself in, we went over this last week. You can take another Renko chart. Like I said, we could take a smaller Renko, an Uni Renko. Let's say we take a, just like Thomas was talking about. I'll get these off here real quick. 1 second. So let's say we take a smaller Renko, like a 166 or a 116. And we look when we get into this liquidity grab pullback. So our 30-year trend zone was red, right? Red, that meaning we're looking for shorts only. Red. We come up to the lowest volume node since midnight on this pullback. That's a big candle. This is our 1135 Uni Renko we like to use, 1135. So right there's the pullback. So there is our pullback. Now, once it pulls back up to low volume node, we're with the 30-year trend. What we can do, and this is at 4 this morning. We'll look at the trades here coming up. What we can do is we can pull in. So here's a low volume node. Right at, let me put these up here on the thing, the low volume node at what, 6? So 83 3/4. So those are low volume node. $83 3/4. It touched right on it. There's a pullback. So when you touch a low volume node, what you can do is you can pull yourself in. There it touched right on it. There's our liquidity grab pullback, this big candle. This 1135 was a big red candle pullback. There's your pull in. Your stop will be placed 2 ticks above there. Now what you can do to get this, and I was posting charts last week on these on the entries with the trail. So I was posting in the room last week. I was posting a 4-tick first target, 8-tick second target, and a 50-tick third target. And the auto trail was set to 15.81, meaning it goes break even after 8 ticks. And they'll auto trail with NinjaTrader. You can auto trail it. using 3 contracts as an example last week. You can auto trail with a 15.8 frequency of 1. Okay, so there was your entry at this level at the close of this candle. So 81.5, and your stop is just going to be above that swing of 83.75. So you can put a tick above that swing. And there's a nice trade to the downside. This is a low volume node with our 30-year trend. This is what trade that happened this morning. We're going to look for trades like this. The best time to look for these is 9:30 to 11 during the power hour and a half, actually, 9:30 to 11. We'll see a lot of these occur. So that was the first one that came up. The second one came up. If you look at the low volume node, the second lowest volume node right now is working on is this one right here. This one, that's the next one that it's working on. So we'll watch it. We'll watch the low volume node. You want it in the direction, the best ones are in the direction of the trend. So our 30-year trend filter is red. We like these big liquidity grab pullbacks, getting right into the volume node and then getting pulled into the market. Or you like to see it come up into, oops, let me get that back on there. You like to see it with trend. So for green, we like pullback buys. Red, we like pullback sells. 1 second. The best ones, if we hit if our yellow trigger fires from our software and it's right on the node, that's confluence. That happened a lot last week. We had some nice trades off that last week. We had over a 36-point run, a 27-point run, and a 21-point run off the yellow trigger low volume node confluence. So watch for that to occur also. But that's what you want to do. If we have a 30-year back tested trend is red, you like pullbacks to these nodes and getting pulled into the node after you hit that low volume area. So these will change during the day. I like updating them every 40 minutes, hour, looking at them. So when you put them on your own charts, put the volume profile in conjunction with our charts, they tend to match up really well. Now, when they do match up on entries, so here's our yellow trigger entries. So for example, when we get a trigger entry, when they come up, let's say for example here's a buy signal, yellow trigger entry, and let's say the low volume node is sitting right at this level. This happened several times last week. If it's sitting right on it and it comes down, if it breaks above the low volume nodes and retests it, and that's exactly with our yellow trigger entry, that's confluence. That will happen a lot with the software. So watch for that today. We'll watch for our yellow triggers won't happen unless we reverse inside of our 30-year trend filter, back-tested trend filter. So we'll see if that can occur, to pull us in the market. All right, so these are the 2 lowest volume nodes here this morning. I keep doing that. 1 second. So watch for those levels as they come up to them or down to them. We'll see if we get some yellow trigger entry buy or sells off of them. Like I said, the best time to look for these entries would be between 9:30 and 11. That's the best time. We're going to look for these. We do have 3 good videos. I go in great detail. Gerald's fixing the website to put them up. We had a problem with our hosting website. So Gerald's fixing the issue. And you can replay Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays videos. I'm not going to go in great detail this morning. I went in great detail for about Each video was probably about 30 minutes last week, each one I did. So replay those. Those are great instructions on how to trade the system. So Gerald will send out a notice to everybody when those are up and running on those 3 training videos we did last week. But in summation, you just want to see the market get up to these levels. If the trend is down, we'll see the market get up to these levels with overall trend filter. If trend filter is red, look for the pullback, sell. If trend filter is green, look for the pullback, buy, and then look for the market to pull yourself in. And like I said, you can use the auto trail. I go over the auto trail in those videos also. Okay. So currently, if I look at our big profile, this is our, and I go over this in the videos last week also, this is our main chart we look at for targets. This is where they try to find fair value. The breakdown in the market right there is 63 3/4 today, right below low value area. And this is the low value area of yesterday. That's the big breakdown in the market. If we break down below 63 3/4, we're looking for the market to go fill this gap. Remember what the market likes to do. It likes to go to the previous control point. That's where the most volume is traded, right here. That's where all the participants are. That's the next fair value area. The market's always trying to find fair value when it breaks out of a balanced market. And that's our fair value. So if we break out of 63 3/4, we should fill the gap down to 31.5. Our targets are very accurate. Once we get into these gaps, they like to go down to the next target. So we'll see if it does that. Consequently, our breakout's going to be 84 today. We break 84, the market should go parabolic to the upside if we break outside of HVA. So we'll watch. This is our main profile we use to find fair value, where the market's going. I'll skinny that down to find the holes in the market and the targets. You can clearly see it's in a balanced market right now in between HV and LVA. So we'll see if we can get down to that level. If we break 63 3/4, fill that gap, or if we break out 84, the market can go to the upside. Okay, so if you want to take the if you got pulled in on this low volume node, this is a low volume node entry with overall trend direction. Stop is just above that swing high. It's with 30-year trend.